How you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world that us Cajuns do have intelligence. I hope you're having a good day wherever you're located. Just remember that this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Ladies and gentlemen, already sitting at 207 episodes. It is a blessing every time I see that number or I think about it. It gets me right here. If you watch it on Rumble or YouTube, I'm hitting my heart. It's hitting me right here because, you know, I always tell this story. A lifespan of an average podcast is 30 episodes, 35 if you're lucky. And that is just because it's been shown with statistics that a podcast, really, if it goes 30 episodes, that's when depression sits in and everybody wonders why they have not made it a big time yet. What's going on? Why didn't they go viral? And they give up. And look, there's tons of podcasts out there, and there's tons of podcasters that make this and go with it. And I'm just happy, you know, passing over that threshold of 30, then passing both shows of 100, and this show 200, creeping on 200 with Brothers Just Searching. I thank the Lord that He showed me what my calling was. Yes, I know I'm called to be a pastor. I know I'm called to be a dad, but to go ahead and tell you the truth and expose the lies, that is maybe one of the greatest things God has ever told me to do. And, you know, or revealed to me that was my calling. And I do this on this show. I do it on Brothers Just Searching. I'm excited to do it. And God has been blessing us, ladies and gentlemen. Is it always smooth sailings? No. I'm just like every one of you that listen to this show, unless you're rich, then I can't go ahead and relate to that way. But I'm just like you. I go ahead and I work. I go ahead and I provide for my family. I do this hobby, which is starting to be more of a career launcher, hopefully. And God has just been doing great things at the church. And, you know, before I get into my topic, just a little piece of encouragement for you guys. You know, I was thinking about this earlier. It's to get angry or depressed, or you shouldn't, especially as a believer. Well, Isaac, don't you see that the world is going up in smoke? I just heard from Fox Weather that Hawaii is suffering wildfires, and we're in a hot spurt right now. And as you can tell, I was sweating. I was just been outside working on my little white truck. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, yeah, it's easy to get depressed. It's easy to get angry. It's easy to get upset on things that are happening in this world today. But rest assured that Jesus Christ is coming back. He's King of Kings. He's Lord of Lords. And you can go ahead and remember that. And your joy is in Him. You're going to be all right. With that being said, I'm just thinking about that. If you want to let the world know that Jesus Christ is still on the throne, go check out the BGS Media Store. We have a shirt and there's different colors to where it has our BGS Media logo in the front. And on the back, it has Jesus is still on the throne. If you like that, please go ahead and pick up that shirt and let the world know that Jesus and God is not in a little box. They're not just in a far distant land. They're in our hearts. Amen. All right, so let's go ahead and start with our topics today. And, you know, I guess this show is going to be a little different. And I didn't mean it to be that way, but there was some stuff that's happening. And look, we've been talking about the Hunter Biden incident. We will bring this up in the second segment for a small bit. But I've been seeing something happen to our politicians. And and there's a lot of things I could probably mention, but today I want to focus on an issue. And look, if you're an older person, please don't get offended. This is what I'm seeing. Our politicians are getting old. Okay, and it's nothing. You know, it's hard to explain. It's just I'm seeing a lot of problems happen, especially on the Democrat side. The Democrat side has a lot of people that are sick. A lot of people that are holding office that are going to the hospital. On our side, we got the turtle, Mitch McConnell. He's in the middle of a press conference and he just freezes. And he don't go ahead and say nothing. And they're like, Mr. McConnell, Senate Leader Mr. McConnell, are you okay? And he's like, he caught himself. He just like was thrown a curveball and was caught looking. And ladies and gentlemen, I really want to ask this question: should there be an age limit for politicians? Because look, the current administration we have in the White House, Joe Biden is close to 80. I think he's 83. He just became 83. If he wins election again, he's just gonna pass over 84. Oh no, he's gonna be 83. He's gonna be 84 when he gets sworn into office again. He's already the oldest president if he lives that long, and I hope he does, because that's horrible. That if we have a president that passed away in office, it has happened in our history with Franklin D. Roosevelt, and that was hard on the country. And look, God forbid anything happens to President Biden. And look, my prayers are for him and his safety and also his health. You're a conservative and you're saying that, Isaac? Yes, I am. I am a conservative, and I want the health of the president more than anybody else. I don't like his policies, but because I don't like his policy, that don't mean I don't want him to be healthy. So, but we have a president that is going to be, when he gets out of office, possibly if he gets reelected in 2024, hope not, but if he gets elected in 2024, this man's going to be 88 years old. 88. That is no spring chicken, ladies and gentlemen. And we're seeing the current administration have issues with his health. Don't you remember on Air Force One when he used to climb up that tall ladder for the president? It was like a photo op where he salute at the top. They're not doing that no more. He's going on the short step that's behind the plane. And ladies and gentlemen, he's falling upstairs. He's tripping. He's slurring words. He's doing word salads. He's falling off bikes. It's sad, but one of those problems. And look, a lot of people can talk about his mental state. They can talk about his that he don't know what he's talking about. Whatever. The teleprompter broke. Majority of that's on his health, though, ladies and gentlemen. He's old. Now, before I continue with this argument, I have a couple of notes that I want to go ahead and address this, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to say, Isaac, the only reason you're saying that is because you're a conservative. Well, I'm going to bring out a lot more than just the president of the United States. But let's go back. So should there be an age limit for politicians? Well, there somewhat is under our Constitution. Under our Constitution, there's an age limit to run for president and other offices. To run for Congress, you have to be at least 25. See me, I'm about to get to I'm at the threshold of the Senate right now. If I want to run for Senate, the Senate is 30. So 25 for Congress, 30 for the Senate, and 35 for the President of the United States. Why did the Founding Fathers put this age limit on certain politicians, especially young politicians? Now, I read one article where it says it was because the lifespan was only 47 to 50 back then. No, you had a lot of men living till 90, 93, 90, 95, 80 some years old. The main reason the Founding Fathers did this, they did not want young men that thought they knew everything and didn't know diddly squat running the country. And look, it even goes to this. A lot of people thought John F. K. at 35 when he was elected president was too young. Now, they can run for president when they're 34 because the way the election falls, but they have to be 35 when they take the oath of office. But the Founding Fathers, going back to that, wanted men that had wisdom and understanding, had some life achievements under their belt. Now, granted, we know back in 1776 and up till probably like the 1900s, the 1950s, well, please forgive me for this, until the 2000s, we had men that at 16, 17, 18 years old were working. They had some life experience. They learned how to make a check, especially in the 1770s. You had men you had boys at the age of 14, 15 working and learning a trade. So by the time they were 35, they had a lot of life experience. But there's a limit. There's an age limit on the age run the country or run for office for a federal position. Now, each state is different. I think our legislation here in Louisiana, I think you got to be 25 to run for the House of Representatives in the state house, or the Senate side, the state Senate. I'm not, don't quote me on that, but I think that is our age limit here. But ladies and gentlemen, they did this for the protection of the country. Now you have to ask the question, what about older people in their 70s, their 80s, in their 90s running for president of the United States? Ladies and gentlemen, and look, I'm going to go back to because when Donald Trump ran against Joe Biden in 2020, a lot of people didn't want to bring up the issue of age because of Biden. But if you remember, Donald Trump was making statements about his age. Do you know Donald Trump is going to be the same age Biden is if he wins in 2024, if he gets the nomination? Whoa. So now the Republicans don't want to bring up a lot of the age issue unless it's towards the left, because it looks bad on Biden, but when you start asking the age question to Donald Trump, it starts getting murky. Now I've had some arguments. They say, well, Isaac, do you honestly believe Donald Trump is in the same mental state as Biden? No, by far. Donald Trump is sharp as a tick. He is sharp. He knows his ups and downs. He knows what to do. Donald Trump is probably one of the smarter men in our country. Look, this is coming from a Ron DeSantis guy that likes Ron DeSantis. I always say that, but I'm not going to cut down Donald Trump. Donald Trump's my number 2. And ladies and gentlemen, it goes to the part of age. And look, what brought this up? What got me into this frenzy, I guess you could say, of asking this? Well, because some politicians this week had to go to the hospital, and it's starting to raise some questions. Senator Dianne Feinstein briefly hospitalized after a fall in San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, this comes after she spends weeks in the hospital and away from her duties as the senator of California. You had Dianne Feinstein. Last time I seen her in a wheelchair, her skin is drooping, and she's sick. But if she would leave the Senate or retire as the Senate, it would make them lose their power for a little while, because it goes through a whole nother process of Governor Newsom going ahead and picking a candidate. But until she's replaced, the Republicans would have some say in the House. I mean, not in the House, the Senate. And they can move things along and do what they want to do. And Dianne Feinstein is a key vote. And look, it depends on the topic. Right now, they have a 1 vote up, even with Joe Manchin and Christian Sinema, if I'm not mistaken, goes on the Republican side. But ladies and gentlemen, Dianne Feinstein is sick. Look, he went in there sick, but let's use John Featherman. Well, John Featherman is not an old person, Isaac. He's not in his 70s, 80s, or 90s. No, but he has health issues. Because, see, that's another part of his argument you can have. Go address on. What if they have health issues going into the race? Now, look, what I'm talking about is just not the left. Please, ladies and gentlemen, don't think, oh, Isaac, you're a conservative and you're talking about this and you're just pointing to Democrats. No, I mentioned Donald Trump a while ago. Donald Trump being in his 70s, going into his 80s. Mitch McConnell, I believe that is in his 80s. You have a lot of other Republicans that are older gentlemen and women that are in the Senate and in the House. And ladies and gentlemen, they're getting up in age. But going back to John Featherman can hardly speak. Because, like I said, that raises a question. What if they have health issues? Well, Isaac, how does that tie in? Well, what if it's a 70, 80, 90-year-old person that is in Congress or in the Senate that is running and they have a known health issue? Should we go ahead and set up some type of system that would tell Democrats and Republican politicians that, listen, no offense, we're not trying to offend you, but you're getting old for this position? Oh, Isaac, that is discriminating. Well, hold on. Why is it discriminating against the older folk but not the young folk? Because see, the young folk, because like I said, you have to be 25 to run for Congress, you have to be 30 to run for the Senate, and you have to be 35 to run for president. Did our founding fathers think, well, these young people are kind of stupid and they don't know what they're talking about? See, you could turn that whole hand. Why? Yeah, but the young people. No, the young people are. That's offensive, in some way. But ladies and gentlemen, they weren't trying to be offensive. They were just trying to make sure, hey, you have an age limit before you can run. Why can't we have an age limit? And look, I can understand. I can hear all my friends that are on the conservative side, but Isaac, you would throw out some key people. Some key people that are in the Senate and in the House. Yes, but if they die, unfortunately, in the Senate or in the House, they're not going to be much help no more. Or if they have a disease, or they have something that, or they're losing their mental capability. Do you really want them in that position? That's why I went on behind this microphone and campaigned so hard against John Featherman, because John Featherman had a stroke. His mind is not at the sharpest point of a blade. And ladies and gentlemen, John Featherman we have tons and tons of video of John Featherman trying to talk, and no, you can't understand him. And I'm not trying to make fun of John Featherman, but ladies and gentlemen, this is and especially this morning, I was thinking about going somewhere else for this, but when I heard that Dianne Feinstein went back into the hospital, I'm like, when are they gonna let this lady leave? And ladies and gentlemen, and look, on both sides, Democrats and Republicans, it's a political selfish move. Because ladies, think about this, okay? John Featherman leaves, and Dianne Feinstein leaves. Even on our side, Mitch McConnell and others, we will lose Senate seats, and that would mean they will go up for elections. And the incumbent has a good shot of winning any election. So they don't want these people to resign or leave, because they will lose their power. And on both sides of the issues, that right there is, as I said, politically selfish. These older folk, look. I'm gonna use for example, my dad's 60-some years old, still got a few years left to go, but I couldn't imagine my dad being 75, 80 years old, still working on a dump truck. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine my dad, when the time comes, being 75, 80 years old, doing anything but going fishing. And that is just not in dump truck industry, ladies. That's in every industry. People usually retire around between 60 and 65. And people's like, yes, enjoy your retirement. But it's kind of funny with politicians. We have the mainstream media, and we have even some of our own party, in the Republican Party and in the Democrat Party. Stay as long as possible, please. We need you. We know people like you. We know people are going to vote for you. And if there's somebody else that comes up behind you they might not like, you got to stay. And you having people, look, I'm not trying to pick on the president. I could do that on many other subjects. But ladies and gentlemen, do you honestly think the president should be in the White House at 83 years old? Let's go even to this. I heard an article. Half of his presidency is him on vacation. Now, Donald Trump and Obama, we criticize them for going on the golf course. But that was 1 round, 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds of golf. And then he'll be right back at work. This man, the last vacation took 2 weeks. Which should have scared us as a United States, as the citizens of the United States. Because that meant Kamala Harris was running some things. Ladies and gentlemen, and look, I know the president, when he's on vacation, he's still got to work. I understand that, but ladies and gentlemen, an 83-year-old man should not be running for public office. He should not be in public office. And look, I'm not trying to look, and look, I know I got a lot of older folk that listen to me. I know you're probably thinking that old young whippersnapper, he's trying to say, no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to make common sense. And look, like I said, this issue, look, Breitbart wrote about it, Fox News wrote about it. There's a lot of people asking the same question I'm asking. Now, this story is not getting mainstream media because I know there's, like I said, there's a lot of things. There's the Hunter Biden incident. There's stuff happening in Hawaii right now. There's a lot of other issues happening in this country that might be more precedented than we're talking about the age of a politician. But ladies and gentlemen, like I said, I couldn't imagine my grandmothers, or if my grandfathers were still alive, running for public office. And I'm not to say that they weren't smart fellas or my grandmothers are smart people, but ladies and gentlemen, it's just, I feel sorry. I'm really being honest right here. I feel sorry when I see Dianne Feinstein, not because she's a Democrat and her issues. I just, a woman like this in a wheelchair that unfortunately has her skin sagging, and I see John Featherman struggling, and I see Mitch McConnell freezing at podiums. We should have an age limit. And look, I know they're not gonna do that because half of them that are in there don't agree with it. But this should be a bipartisan issue. Our politicians should come together and say, listen, 75, 80 the latest. You have to retire. It would get the young people back in there. Another generation starts circulating in. And ladies and gentlemen, it just, because look, I've seen this. I've seen congressmen die in their position. And look, this is a full-time job. I know me at 65, 80 years old, 65, 70, whatever the age, between 60 and 80. If the Lord don't come back and takes us home where we hear the trump of God sound, I hope that I made it enough to where I can enjoy my grandkids. Or if I'm doing this show, that I could take if I'm doing this show and I retire or give it to my kids or whatever, I hope that I can just stay home and rest in my old age. But these politicians, it's twofold. Either somebody's asking them to stay and they feel like, well, I'm important, or they don't want to lose the power, the individual. I know there's a lot of things we can go into this. It's just, I think there should be an age limit on politicians. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'll be right back in a few moments. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Hayes here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Cart has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Avenger Thruway in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, easy-go, Cushman, and Gorilla dealer. When dealing with Cajun Carts, you're not only purchasing a product or service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself in superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Carts a call today at 337-896-3411 or go check out their website, CajunCarts.com, to explore the options for your next karting adventure. Remember Cajun Carts when you're looking for your next golf cart, and tell them Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative sent you.
Cleansed and made us whole. Not one hoof, not one soul.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the second segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. So Riley Gaines, the activist, was in Texas this week, and she was spit on and attacked by protesters at a ceremonial bill signing in Texas. Now, this comes on the heels of that Texas has passed a bill. I think it's the Protect the Women's Act or something like that. They were signing this bill that will protect women in NCAA in Texas, and I don't know the whole ins and outs of the bill. I think this is the same bill. If you remember, I showed a video online, and it was this Texas legislator questioning another Texas legislator, and he was asking, what is a woman? And he just went bonkers. He was trying to go around the question. They just kept asking it. It was never a clear answer. So, but this bill was signed, and Riley Gaines attended the bill signing, and I seen some of the videos. She's walking out, and she's getting spit on. She's getting harassed by protesters. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I understand disagreeing with someone, disagreeing with policy. And this is one of the reasons why here at the Cajun Conservative Show, we go ahead and reach out to people we disagree with, because we try to show people on the left and right that you could sit down with somebody that you disagree with. I have done this on this show already with, I think, at least one person, and that was Mr. Leroy, the liberal trucker. But ladies and gentlemen, Riley Gaines, yes, she is an activist for women's sports rights. But to get spit on, to get harassed, to get attacked by protesters, just because you think only women should play in women's sports, it is bonkers to me. Now, this is why I bring this out, though. Because if you look at any protest that the right attends, you have the mainstream media, the liberal media, and people that are there for that event telling them you shouldn't be here. If you just don't like it, just leave. And you're not being tolerable. You're not understanding. You should just not be here at all. And the media, and the left-leaning media, and activists for the things that conservatives don't like tell us that we're not tolerant and we're rude and we're evil. And I've seen this multiple times. There is a person on YouTube, and I can't think of his name right on top of my head, but he's a Christian activist, and he goes to pride parades, or he goes to LGBTQ churches, and he asks them the question, is it biblical? And he's asking questions. I've seen this man thrown out, and every time you see somebody come confront him, they tell him you're not tolerable, you're not understanding, you're trying to make a name for yourself. And they throw insults at him like they are the ones that go ahead and they're tolerable, they're understanding, they're loving. They never do what happened to Riley Gaines. Now, this isn't the first time, if I'm not mistaken, Riley Gaines has been attacked by protesters. This has happened multiple times, where one, they had to lock her in a room and the people were trying to get her out. It was a real Sodom and Gomorrah incident. Now, ladies and gentlemen, don't these two incidents show, or this incident at least, show that they maybe are not tolerable? They're not understanding? Remember, these are the same people that burned down cities in the summer of love. And you had the left-wing media, it's mostly peaceful protests, and you had the building burning in the back. Does that sound like understanding, tolerable people? And look, I'm not against protest. Look, these people had every right to go and protest. I'm not against them protesting. They have a constitutional right to go out there and to protest peacefully. But when you start harassing people and start spitting on them and physically assaulting them, that is not peaceful protest. That is a crime, and they should go to jail. Now, I don't know what Miss Riley Gaines is going to do. I don't know if she's going to press charges or whatever she's going to do, but just think about it. You, the listener, just think about this. We have people on the left that say they're tolerable, they're understanding. They just want to show love. Was that showing love? And ladies, it's kind of funny when you hear a lot of incidents like this. It's not conservatives that are going there, burning buildings or doing all this stuff. It is mostly people on the left. All right, let's move on. Senator Mitch McConnell, we just talked about him in the last segment. And look, ladies and gentlemen, I am not the biggest Mitch McConnell fan. I'm not. I think he's been in there way too long. I think it's time for him to go to retire. I think it's time for Mitch McConnell to pass the mantle to somebody else. Harry Reid did it with Chucky Schumer. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't like Mitch McConnell's policies, but he has made some news, and Mitch McConnell urges House Republicans to avoid Biden impeachment. This is from Breitbart, and Mitch McConnell made these statements to the press. He was speaking to the New York Times in an interview that was published last Tuesday of the time of this recording, and there would have been the 8th of August of 2023. McConnell said that he does not want to continue the impeachment cycle that Democrats started 2 years ago when they impeached former President Trump on the Bosch charges. I said 2 years ago, when we had not one but two impeachments, that once we go down this path of incivility, the other side to do the same thing. McConnell said impeachment ought to be rare. He added, this is not good for the country. Why is Mitch McConnell coming out with this? Because it is widely known now that President Joe Biden is probably going to be facing an impeachment inquiry. If not this time, when he gets reelected, it probably will happen if the Republicans win the House of Representatives. Now, this has raised a little bit of questions to me because, I believe impeachments should be rare. I don't think they should happen at all. But prior to Donald Trump, the last one was Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton was impeached. He didn't lose his office, but that was done, I believe, if my memory serves me correct, in 94, 95, give or take. The Senate did not get the 67 threshold they needed to remove President Clinton out of office. But prior to that, I think it was Richard Nixon. And Richard Nixon was, I want to say 68, 67. I'm trying to test my memory out on history here. But prior to Donald Trump's two impeachments, it was rare. And I think it should be rare. The founding fathers did not put impeachment in the Constitution to just fill in space. They were hoping that this would keep presidents accountable. And they have. Like I said, the Richard Nixon incident, I know Richard Nixon was a Republican president, but he did something wrong, and they probably would have impeached him. That would have been a bipartisan impeachment going forward. But Richard Nixon, I believe, resigned before the impeachment process even started. And then, like I said, President Clinton, it did go through, and that was a bipartisan impeachment in the House of Representatives. There were Democrats and Republicans. Remember the time, ladies and gentlemen, when Republicans and Democrats tried to work together, just didn't throw rocks at each other? So I agree with Mitch McConnell. I think it should be rare. I don't disagree with his comment. The problem going forward, though, ladies and gentlemen, the problem is not that it should be rare. I think everyone in this audience and even some on the left should agree to that. The problem is that we shouldn't throw this impeachment inquiry out because Mitch McConnell believes it needs to be rare. Now, I know if they do an impeachment inquiry, I know it's going to get this impeachment inquiry is not to go ahead and remove Biden out of office. We already know this. We know that what the Republicans are trying to do, they're trying to get the information out to the American people of the Biden scandals. I understand that, and I'm not against the Democrats doing that. The Republicans doing that. The Republicans have done a fantastic job in doing this. They have exposed so much since they took the power of the House back in 2022. Which was done by slim majorities, but we got the Republicans got the House of Representatives to go ahead and look at this stuff. Now, do I think they should start impeachment process for Biden? Absolutely. Well, Isaac, you just said it. He's not gonna get convicted. Yes, but he has to have a trial in the Senate. He has to have the Supreme Court justice there. And there's going to be a lot of things. A lot of people be watching this Senate hearings and the Senate inquiries, and there'll be a lot of information out there. And look, maybe by some dumb luck, we might have a couple of Democrats say, you know what, Biden shouldn't have done that. He put the risk to our nation. We're going to go ahead. I don't think they're going to get 18 senators. But ladies and gentlemen, they should start looking into Joe Biden. But Mitch McConnell is not encouraging it because it should be rare. This should be a rare occasion. And like I said, nobody disagrees with Mitch McConnell, that it should be rare. I think it should be rare. I think that they shouldn't have an impeachment inquiry of every president that comes out, which is the way that it's looking. Now, Mitch McConnell saying this, and I'm glad he said this in his statement about the Democrats doing it, because, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats have done this. And look, I know what. Let's back step for a couple of minutes, because I know why Mitch McConnell's saying that it should be rare, and he put the blame on the Democrats. Because, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of these impeachment stuff is political. Now, I'm not going to shy away from the Republicans. I just gave you a whole thing. Hey, this is going to bring out evidence. This is going to bring. They can go into more detail. They can look into all this. It's to show the Bidens. It's to show the world what the Bidens have done. I'm not doubting that. I think they should do it, because at least the American people would see from this is that President Biden, it has flaws that the media have been trying to hide. Now, going back to Donald Trump's impeachment. The whole reason the Democrats Party did it, if I'm not mistaken, was to protect the Obamas and the Bidens, because now we're seeing it now why they really did fire the prosecutor. And the Democrat Party, especially Nancy Pelosi and all the other pawns in the House and Congress with the Democrat Party, they went ahead and we can't have that, so they impeached Donald Trump to hide the Biden dealings. Same thing with January 6th. The reason that they went ahead and impeached Donald Trump for January 6th, because there were some questionable things that happened on January 6th. And to hide all that, they went ahead and they impeached Donald Trump. That was solely political. They wanted to make Donald Trump look bad, but every Tom, Dick, and Harry knew that it was political. Even the indictments are political. And look, on that note of normalizing something, normalizing an indictment of a president. Don't you know before Donald Trump, there was no president indicted? Since the first indictment of Donald Trump, there has been two others and possibly a fourth? All ran by Democrat-led people. So why the Democrats are normalizing this behavior? Well, because apparently they think it's beautiful. I got an article right here that says Pelosi calls Trump indictment beautiful. It says that a Trump win in 2024 will be like the world being on fire. Yes, because the bad, evil man. So she just said it right there. That's because it's political. Why are they indicting Trump? Because he's running for office. And he is the lead runner in the GOP primary right now. That's why she thinks these indictments are beautiful, because it's just trying to stop Donald Trump. So where's Mitch McConnell on these indictments? To my knowledge, I think he's not for them. But ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of funny that Mitch McConnell would talk about Biden's impeachment. He wished the Republicans wouldn't do it, but he's so silent on Donald Trump's indictment. Why don't he make a statement saying that, hey, I think that the Trump indictments need to stop. I think this is politicizing and using the DOJ for political purposes. Why don't he come out and say that about the indictments? Because, look, he's already shaken hands with Biden on multiple occasions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go back to the first part when he talked about it being rare. Again, like I said, we're not against the whole, hey, if it's the impeachment should be rare. I'm not against that whatsoever. But I think an impeachment, the founding fathers put it in there for a reason. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why I think we should impeach Biden. Because there is proof. See, he can go ahead and say an impeachment should be rare, but if there is evidence that a president did wrong while in office, the impeachment process should start to hold him accountable. Well, what did Biden do so bad that we have to impeach him? Well, one, today, the House GOP released bank records on Hunter Biden's payments from Russia, Kyiv, and all the other nations, and some nations, and it cleared. They cleared $20 million. We already know Biden made phone calls thanks to Devin Archer, that Biden made phone calls and, hey, son Hunter, how you doing, buddy? And there's already emails proving that Biden was part of being a foreign agent. Biden and Hunter Biden, Joe and Hunter. We already know this. This was done while he was vice president, yes, but now he's the president. From his former actions, he could be compromised. And look what he's doing to Ukraine. It's kind of funny how he's giving tons and tons of money to Ukraine. Why? There's a lot of other things. Small potatoes with this. White House cocaine belonged to someone in the Biden family orbit, was reported by a magazine. It was said in this magazine that these close sources to the White House, that the Secret Service told Biden who it was. And he said, well, we're not going to say nothing. Just say we got rid of the evidence. Ladies and gentlemen, on something that small, he was trying to protect somebody in his orbit. What would he do for his son that is clearly, according to the laptop from hell, the Hunter Biden laptop, that has incriminating evidence on it? How would he not try to protect his son? It's kind of funny, too. And look, even that point, if he is using the DOJ for his own protection, which I believe he is, it's kind of funny how every special prosecutor that was looking into Hunter Biden, you don't hear nothing about him, and they were all Hunter's friends from law school. Or you don't hear about the special counsel that's looking into Biden and his document scandals. You hear about Jack Smith, you don't hear about that special prosecutor. Or if there's something that happens with Hunter Biden, all of a sudden an indictment comes up. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, impeachment should be rare. But when an impeachment needs to happen, it needs to happen. And unfortunately, this will be my last thought before we move on to our break. Presidents are not what they used to be. Presidents are not what they used to be. Especially this president. Remember, presidents were loyal. They were law-keepers. They protect the nation. Recent Democratic presidents have not been. Well, we can go back to that. Clinton, even Bush, Obama, Biden. They cared about everybody else. And look, people, don't forget, Obama had scandals too. I had one lady tell me one time, we had it scandal-free with Obama. No, we didn't. There was a lot of scandals with the Obama family. Until Donald Trump. And even Donald Trump, with all the indictments and everything. Presidents aren't where they used to be. That's why impeachments were rare as well. But at the same time, the parties are not the same either. The parties want to throw the next party under the bus. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a slippery slope to countries like Middle Eastern countries or overseas countries. And we need to get them done. Look, like I said, I agree with Mitch McConnell. Impeachment should be rare. But at the same time, with all this evidence, we need to have an impeachment inquiry. That is my belief on that. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take our break. I'll be right back in a few moments, so stay tuned. How you doing, everyone? Isaac Hayes here, host of Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative. Are you in the market for a new or used golf cart? Look no further. Cajun Cart has the karting companion you're looking for. Located at 3023 Northwest Avenger Thruway in Lafayette, Louisiana, Cajun Cart is your authorized club car, easy-go, Cushman, and Gorilla dealer. When dealing with Cajun Carts, you're not only purchasing a product or service, but you're also investing in the name. Serving the Acadiana area since 2003, Cajun Cart prides itself in superb customer service, top-notch rental, and best-in-class inventory. Give Cajun Carts a call today at 337-896-3411 or go check out their website, CajunCarts.com, to explore the options for your next karting adventure. Remember Cajun Carts when you're looking for your next golf cart, and tell them Brothers Just Searching and the Cajun Conservative sent you. All right, everybody, welcome back to the third and final segment of the Cajun Conservative Show today. We're doing something a little different in this third segment. I have a lot of stories I wanted to cover. And if you notice with the first two segments, that's how I normally try to do. I try to find a story, collect my thoughts on it, and go with the whole segment with it. Sometimes, though, there's so much storage, you're like, I really want to talk about this, and you can't get to them all. So what we're going to do with this segment is I'm going to go ahead and run through a few of the stories that I have, and I have quick opinions on, and I hope you enjoy it. I was thinking about doing this on a regular basis with the third segment to get all my stories going, but you know, sometimes you have an interview or something like that, so you have to take care of that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into these topics. On one note, before I read this, just to get some groundwork in for this story. The whole reason the Hunter Biden and Joe Biden stories are big right now is because, like us as conservatives, we say they were selling influence. Devin Archer said it the best way. He said, look, we'll be at a dinner, and these people were asking, listen, we want to build up our company. You're Hunter Biden, have no experience of what we're doing, but we want you because you know how Washington works. How do we know if we invest in you and give you money, how are we gonna go ahead and make sure our investments are good? We're just not giving you money to give you money. For God forbid we do that. And Hunter Biden be like, hold on a second. You take out his cell phone. Hey, Pop, it's your son Hunter. Hey, boy, how you doing? How's the weather there in Ukraine? I'm doing good, Pop, man. I just want to talk to you. Now, like I said, Dan Bongino has some good takes on that had to be planned and all that stuff. But when you get off the phone, you say, see, I have so much influence that I can call my dad, the vice president, anytime I want. And he comes in like, oh, wow, yeah, here's some money. Now, that has been, in my opinion, proven. Some on the left will say no. But that is called selling influence. Now, apparently, just right off the cuff, it's okay for Democrats to do that. It's okay for Democrats to sell their influence in Washington. Now, I know it's not, but what about when a Republican, someone that's a Republican, gets gifts? Like Clarence Thomas. Why am I bringing this up? Well, because there has been a lot of there's a lot of attack on Clarence Thompson right now, which is kind of funny that this is happening because he's the only, I think he's the only black justice on the Supreme Court, and everybody on the left criticizes him for doing something wrong. They forget his skin tone apparently for a second. But anyway, the New York Times recently ran a Litly feature that reported that Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas once accepted a Super Bowl ring from billionaire Dallas Cowboy owners Jerry Jones. But as the variety of outlets in Texas-based papers picked up on the claim, people close to Thomas say the gift was actually an inexpensive replica. I expect the New York Times to issue a retraction on this falsehood and apologize to Justice Thomas. Mark Paletto, who co-authored Creation Equal, Clarence Thomas, in his own words, told Fox News. Now, the story was written back in July 9th, but it is bringing up a lot of things because people are saying that Jerry Jones gave this Super Bowl ring, which Jerry Jones should have kept it because the Dallas Cowboys don't get one that much. Oh, I'm sorry for all my friends that are Dallas Cowboys fans. I can't say nothing. The Saints haven't had one since 2009, and that was their first. But anyway, but Jerry Jones gave him this ring because he wanted some influence in the court. Ladies and gentlemen, unless there was a court case going up to the Supreme Court that Clarence Thomas could have ruled in favor or not, it would be kind of stupid, in my humble opinion, to give a Super Bowl ring to somebody that's in office that cannot create laws. That's what normal lobbyists do. They go and they offer a politician something, or they give them some money, something, but they got to vote a certain way on a law. This happens in Louisiana all the time. But to a Supreme Court justice, all they can do is rule. They can't even bring a lawsuit up. Okay, look, I'm going to use for example like Roe v. Wade. The only reason Roe v. Wade got turned over was because somebody filed a lawsuit and it made it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court didn't just go ahead. You didn't hear Judge Roberts say, hey, I want to take up a court. I want to go ahead and file a lawsuit where we have to rule on Roe v. Wade. They couldn't just overturn Roe v. Wade without a lawsuit coming up to the Supreme Court. But see, this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is why the left and some in the media, the New York Times, in Cajun terms, got their cassons in a bunch. Was because they're trying to compare somebody on the right to justify what they're trying to find somebody on the right that can justify Biden's actions. You get what I'm saying? Or even that, if they get conservatives on Clarence Thompson, it might turn away from Biden, and they can leave Biden alone. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this was a cheap replica of Jerry Jones's reign. This came from Clarence Thompson himself. But ladies and gentlemen, they're trying, and look, it's funny how the left does this. The left goes ahead and says, look, you on the right, y'all did this, it's bad. But somebody on the left does the exact same thing. Oh, that's good. There was nothing to see here. You're fine. You're all good. You didn't do nothing wrong. And ladies and gentlemen, this is hypocrisy at its finest. Trying to get, and look, like I said, they've been trying to go after Clarence Thomas for God knows how long. They tried to get, I think it was the Patriots owner, because Clarence Thomas got some football seats. Ladies and gentlemen, it just, use for example, look, one time thing, he got a ring from Jerry Jones. He sat down in the stadium to watch the Patriots play. One time. You don't see him there every week. He's not a season holder ticket season holder. But Biden called his son 20 times while he was just coincidentally at dinner. Or Hunter Biden called the president while he was at dinner to sell his influence. Just saying, it's just a lot. And look, is it coincidence? I think so. All right, let's move on. During an interview with the Weather Channel that is set to air yesterday, it was supposed to air, and it's funny, okay, the president did this interview with the Weather Channel, probably to talk about climate change and all that, because the people at the Weather Channel, they love climate change. They're all scientists, but they're dumb as a box of rocks on climate change. Anyway, a portion of which aired Tuesday, which was the 8th of August, Joe Biden said that he wanted to stop all drilling on the East Coast and the West Coast and in the Gulf. Louisiana. If you're in Louisiana and Texas, you should be furious. Texas to Florida, you should be furious at this. But it was blocked by the courts from doing so. So Biden could not be a dictator because of our justice system. Thank goodness that some things still work. But he wanted to stop it. The Weather Channel meteorologist Stephanie Abrams asks, let's talk Gen Z. Because they're going to play a big role in the next presidential election, and many of them are angry about the 7,000 oil and gas permits you approved since you've been in office. Now, I'm going to stop right there with that question, because if you remember a while back, Biden was bragging, I gave more drilling permits than any president out there, which was a lie. Donald Trump had him beat, I believe, by 4. But he's making those statements. Now he's telling the Weather Channel, or the Weather Channel's bringing out, which they did some good journalism, right? Only 7,000 oil and gas since he's been in office? Ladies and gentlemen, he's not going against the oil and gas company, right? Why only 7,000? Those 7,000 is just for him to say, hey, I did something, okay? But he said, you promised no new drilling on federal lands or offshore. Remember when that did come up a lot? Can you tell Gen Z that you haven't broken your promise? He hasn't. He like I said, he did that, but he has stopped drilling a lot in America. But anyway, Biden said, yes, because the courts overruled me. See, the Justice Department is fine when he's doing his bidding, but when it's blocking his bidding, the courts are bad. The court said I couldn't do it. I wanted to stop drilling on the East Coast, the West Coast, and in the Gulf, but I lost in court. He also stated the private sector coming off the sidelines. They invested $250 billion in alternative energy. They're building solar factories, which are one failed a while back. They are electrolyzing to take hydraulics and turn it. There's so much going on. Finally, no one can no longer deny that we don't have a problem with climate change. I asked this question. Now, he also criticized Texas and saying that Texas by saying they have more cheaper wind solar energy than any state, and Greg Abbott wants to cut it back so we could have more oil. I don't get these guys. No, we want efficient energy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is my whole take on this. First off, he does want to stop drilling. He thinks it's going to save the environment. I asked the question on I think it was the last episode, where I talked about climate change. What about China? What about everybody else on that? What about the Middle Eastern countries? You know, I'm just asking a question. When climate change finally decides to blow up the world or burn up the world, first off, we won't be able to stop it anyway. Yeah, but we could prolong it. Okay, so if we're 50 years behind or 50 years ahead of China, when China finally decides, when climate change finally hits and says, hey, carbon emission on this side of the world is bad, and it starts burning up, will it stop halfway when it gets to America, Canada, and Mexico? I'm just asking, you know. See, that's the thing. He wants to. He says it. No one can any longer deny that we don't have a problem with climate change. Yeah, we have a problem with climate change. It costs them way too much money, and you're taking away people's freedom to do it. But for the interest of public health, he's gonna go ahead and push it, and he's gonna get followers for it. He will. He's gonna get people that's gonna believe him because, hey, it's climate change, and to save your life, give us your freedom. It's not about climate change. It's about control. I need to put that on a shirt. It's not about climate change. It's about control. I need to talk to producer LB, who is not in the studio today. Anyway, workers at a Los Angeles Cinnabon strike to protest Pride policy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The entire staff of a Cinnabon store walked out of the job last Friday. This is an old story because their boss said they could not hang a pride flag. They also filed a civil rights complaint because apparently their races are a religious group. I thought pride or people that were in the pride community, they were born this way. That's why it makes it civil rights. No, you chose to be in that lifestyle. You're not born with it. You're chosen. You're not born with it. You chose to be in that position. You chose to live that lifestyle. Now, 14 employees went ahead and they got out the store. It was a store in Los Angeles, which is kind of funny. The next two stores are from Los Angeles. But walking out now this goes to something that I just thought about though. These employees are mad that a private company or the guy that owns these Cinnabon stores told them they cannot do something in his store. Meanwhile, and look, the left side, oh, that's wrong. This man he took away their rights. He did it. Why is it okay for people that are in the pride community to go ahead and march out of a store and defy the boss? Now, they're not part of a union. I found that out. They're not part of a union. This dude should have fired all 14 people. I promise you, there's some people in California. There's 14 people that need a job that don't worry about their gender or their sexuality. Now, this man, props to him. I don't know if you let him keep the job or whatever. But it's funny, again, like I said, they're mad that a boss of a private company said, no, you cannot do this in my store. But while us conservatives gripe about censorship on tech media or social media or whatever, the left goes ahead and says, well, you got to understand, these are private companies. And if you say something they don't like, they have every right to shut you up. So why it's okay for us conservatives to be censored or told, and when we are told, you got to listen to the people that own the company. But these people are told, don't hang a pride flag in my store or bring pride buttons or anything, that's a civil rights issue. He went against the civil rights as citizens of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tutorial justice system. And this is what people on the left do. They go ahead and they think, because I'm on the left, I have more rights. I'm above the average citizen. And you, the conservative, the ignorant redneck, or the Cajun from South Louisiana, y'all second-class citizens because y'all believe in freedom of speech. It's sad. It's sad. All right, moving on. A 7-Eleven worker goes ahead and wallops. I like how New York Post puts this. Wallops California man who tried to steal trash can full of cigarettes, whipped his butt. I'm going to say it like that. I'm going to be PG on this. But no, there was a 7-Eleven in California where a man jumped in there and he previously robbed this store and had a trash can. I've seen the video. Had a trash can and was just throwing cigarettes. Now, he came into the 7-Eleven previously and robbed these people. This time, he was threatening them with a gun. He said he had a gun. He kept going behind his back. And ladies and gentlemen, he just starts stealing cigarettes. Well, he got close to the manager. I guess it's the manager. And the manager just grabbed him and threw him to the ground and held him down. Then you had the other worker take a broomstick to this idiot and goes ahead and starts hitting him. Now, people on the phone, they're watching this. Let the cops deal with it. Let's go. What you doing? This is inhumane. Oh, this is crazy. While videotaping it and probably posted it on Facebook later on. Now, the story has made wind because they are charging the manager and the other worker, I think, with assault. Because this manager of a 7-Eleven and the worker were trying to stop a theft. Also, it is known that this man probably had a gun on him. So when a man shows and comes up in your face and you have the opportunity to grab him down to where he does not grab his gun, grab him. But look, this is how, look, I'm saying leftists, man, y'all all backwards. Anyone that believes in the leftist agenda, you're backwards. You are, people, and especially in California, I'd like to hear this case later on. But this man was stealing and the employees stopped him. But now, apparently, I think the man has walked off since then. He's free, and they're attacking the manager. And now this is in California. I think if this was in Louisiana, the cops would have clapped and shook their hands and said, "Thank you, we didn't have to run tonight." But ladies and gentlemen, a man was stealing stuff out of the counter. Now the two men are pressed down. Now the county or whatever is pressing charges against these two individuals because all they did was protect the store. And ladies and gentlemen, it's sad. It is sad that we have gotten to this point in America where the thieves can go in a store, steal cigarettes, steal cigars, steal whatever they want, and there's no punishment. But a law-abiding citizen that is working, now this employee is working to provide for his family. Hey, there's 14 people that's sitting on the streets. Maybe he can go to the Cinnabon in Los Angeles. And look, I got an idea. Let the Cinnabon manager go hire that manager, or the Cinnabon guy hire that man, and tell all them 14 people, hey, the 7-Eleven down the street is looking for some employees, and let them get robbed multiple occasions. I wonder if they're going to say, love, pride. They might be like, get out of here. It's just, ladies and gentlemen, it's just backwards. A boss can't say what he wants in his own place, and a manager gets arrested for stopping a theft. It's sad. One more story before we go. This was a little more serious note. Ohio voters reject GOP's push to increase constitutional amendment threshold in special elections. So, like here in Louisiana, when we want a constitutional amendment passed, it goes through a lengthy process. It got to get passed by the House. It got to get passed by the Senate. It got to get signed by the governor. Then it got to go through a whole nother process, and then we vote on it. That's how things get into our state constitution. This isn't the national constitution. This is the state constitution of Ohio. They wanted to change that. I believe to push something in their constitution, They have to have a 50% approval. This new law would have made it 60% approval, so it would have been 60-40. And it would have they wanted to go ahead and do a lot of things to go ahead and strengthen their constitutional thresholds to pass stuff in. The reason a lot of the GOP wanted to do this in this state was because there was a lot of left-leaning mayors or a lot of left-leaning people in Ohio that want to go ahead and put that the abortion is a constitutional right by in their state. Also, you have some like the Cleveland mayor, I can't think of his name at the moment, said that Cleveland should go ahead and make Ohio should go ahead and make tougher gun laws for people to not get guns. Now, this is the Buckeye state, and the Buckeye state, last time I've heard, is still pretty conservative. They're Tulsa, but they're leaning more to conservative ways. So people on the left wanted to go ahead and use this threshold to pass amendments in their constitution to where they can't do laws to go ahead and break and to overturn it. Well, the Republicans didn't want that, so they asked for a 60 threshold. Now, I say that this is more conservative, but ladies and gentlemen, this thing passed. I mean, this thing didn't pass. It failed, to my knowledge, by double digits. This is what it says in the report. 575,000 votes being cast from Friday to Monday. That was their early voting, and then officially open, and the GOP sponsored issue one. It fell by double digits. Some of the polling stations around Arkin, Ohio, expected to experience issues with the machines, but Summit County Board of Elections Deputy Director Pete Zingler told Arkham Beckham Journal that the problem was due to station workers having trouble opening new equipment. Zinger said that no stations were stopped and that voting continued all scheduled. So they didn't have no issues with voting machines or anything like that before. A lot of people come up and say, well, this thing was all set up. And no, there was no problems. But ladies and gentlemen, now they did have some effective immediate amendments. Supposed to go get 5% voting support from 88 counties in the state and include the legislation. Starting January 1st, January 2024, issue one also would have eliminated the 10-day window during which applicants can gather more signatures if the state deemed too many of the originals to be invalid. But yeah, so then this also goes, reading this article, 2019, they passed the 6-week ban, and it was in court and all that stuff, and they wanted to put, I think the GP really they wanted to put abortion in that it wasn't a constitutional right or something like that. But ladies and gentlemen, now is this a sad day? Well, yeah, for the conservatives, but a lot of people are saying that this is an outcome of 2024, and it's funny how this is working out. Look, I was one that said Roe v. Wade, I don't think affected a lot with the 2022 election. There were some people that say yes, because of Roe v. Wade, they decided not to vote Republican. They were planning to vote Republican, but this was the big turn. And a lot of people think that abortion is a big issue, that this is why this is happening. Well, look, you can have I don't think it's right to abort a child, but you can have your rights. You can have your opinion on abortion. Should the state go ahead and give that, supply that to them? No. And look, like us in Louisiana, we don't agree with it. I think we're pushing we're pushing a ban, or we have put a ban, which is still fighting in the courts or whatnot. But ladies and gentlemen, if somebody really wants an abortion, they're gonna find a place to get an abortion, unfortunately. Now, this would have protected Ohio from a lot of left-leaning stuff, but to my knowledge, Ohio is, like I said, they're mostly conservative there. So yes, this is a loss for conservatives in that way. But ladies and gentlemen, we still got a long way as a nation. There's still a lot of people that, and look, abortion is one of them hot button topics that somebody that don't follow politics whatsoever hear that somebody's pro-life or pro-choice, that makes their decision for them. And look, I talked to Governor candidate Stephen Wackerspack the other day. We were talking about this issue, and for Louisiana, and Stephen Wackerspack, candidate for Louisiana governor. We were talking about this, and he made that point. He said, Isaac, he said that's a lot of people's only. If they hear that somebody's pro-life and they're pro-life, they vote for him right away, or they're pro-gun or whatever. And this is a hot button topic. Somebody that don't care nothing about this whole issue one could have benefited the state of Ohio a lot more. It could have been the Democrats used this for their benefit if the Republicans wanted to jam something down the citizens' throats and put it into the Constitution. But because it was labeled a bill to stop abortion, yeah, a lot of people go out there. And it's sad, ladies and gentlemen. It's sad. But, hey, props to the Republicans for trying. Props to the Republicans for trying. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this show up. I want to thank you, as always, for listening to the Cajun Conservative Show. My heart is overwhelmed for your support, by your support. And if this is your first time listening, I hope you enjoyed the show. Please remember to hit the subscribe button and the follow button on the platform you're listening on. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell. That is very important. We have over 100 subscribers. I know it's not a lot, but hey, we need to get them numbers up. Hitting the bell helps us out. Also subscribing if you're a new subscriber as well. Please tell your friends. I love you guys. Thank you for being part of the Cajun Conservative family. If you want to reach me, you can go ahead and reach me at the CajunConservative5@gmail.com, and we'll go ahead and get your emails. Once again, Jesus Christ is King, and He's coming back. He's coming back soon, so don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. I say this all the time because it's all about Jesus. If you, the individual, want to know about Jesus Christ and want Jesus to be Lord of your life, reach out to me. I'll tell you how to make Jesus your Savior and heaven your home. So until next time, my friendly Cajun Conservative family, I will see you next Monday. I hope you be blessed. Be encouraged. You have a good one.
And he